Hello, I'm Damien Jones from H&H Classics, and I'm here today to give you a brief overview of the 110 motorcars and one number plate that we've got going under the hammer at the Pavilion Gardens, Buxton on Wednesday, April the 27th. We've been very fortunate once again to be entrusted with a fabulous selection of cars. We've got over a century's worth of motoring going under the hammer. So the earliest car is a 1914 Sunbeam 1620 4.1 litre Tourer. Now that's a car that's been built up from parts that were resident in the Antipodes for years, and the result is a very graceful, very elegant, but decidedly sporting Edwardian Tourer with a freshly overhauled 4.1 litre engine. So it's got a surprising amount of poke for it. The most modern car in the sale is a 2016 Land Rover Defender 110 pickup. Now obviously the design dates back to 1948 and you can still see traces of it. But the reason this particular pickup is so interesting is that it's covered 430 miles from new. Now it's been serviced 3 times, but it's 430 miles from new. So as you can see, a really broad range of cars. We've got quite a lot of interesting pairings as well. So we've got 2 Riley 15.6 saloons, for example. One is a 6-light Kestrel. I think one of the prettiest designs that Riley ever pulled together, and certainly one of the best looking pre-war saloons. And also one of its siblings, a 15.6 Adelphi. Now that's a real oily rag car. It's got layer upon layer of paint. We think it's got the original upholstery. The vendors enjoyed it for various rallies around the UK. It's a delightful thing. We've got, right at the other end of the scale, we've got 2 BMW E36 M3 Evo convertibles. Now one's a very rare carbon black edition, and the other car, the earlier Kestrel blue car, is the property of Robin Reed, former WBC super middleweight champion and Olympic medalist, and he's had that car from new. We've got some modern rallying greats, so we've got a Subaru Impreza P1. P1 standing for Pro Drive 1, one of the fabulous 2-door cars that was developed and engineered by Pro Drive for British roads. So that much more civilized and that much more at home on our B roads than the Japanese import RA cars, conservatively rated at 280 brake horsepower. If you've never driven an Impreza, you certainly should. They are one for the bucket list. Equally iconic, or more so depending on your love of Italian marques, is a Lancia Delta Integrale Evo 1. Again, that's not a huge mileage, although it's been in the UK for most of its life. It's done about 74,000 miles. It's recently had a very thorough service, so not only has it had the timing belt replaced, but even things like the hooks for the rear parcel shelf have been sorted. We've got no fewer than 4 Porsche 911s. We've got a gorgeous silver anniversary car, one of 1,063 produced worldwide. That started life in America. It's come back. It's formerly part of Ian Wade's collection. It's a great thing. We've got a Carrera 3.2 with the G50 gearbox, which is to C00 specification, German home market specification, so how Porsche designed them in the first place. We've got another 1977 car, Targa 2.7, and we've got a more modern 2005 997. And the 997 really is one to watch for the future because they are more and more sought after by collectors. We've got no fewer than 3 Jaguar E-Types, again, all special for their own reasons. So we've got a 1968 Series 2 fixed head that has been in one family from new, and it's warranted at 44 or 48,000 miles, something like that, but it's a very low mileage car, come over from the States, very original and very nicely presented. In not quite so long-term ownership, but still impressive, is the 1970 Jaguar E-Type 4.2 Roadster. Now that's one of just 776 UK home market cars, and that's been with the vendor since 1977, and he has loved it for the last 45 years. That's a great thing. We've also got a very handsome British racing green with green leather Series 3 V12 Roadster. So good choice of E-Types there. We have no fewer than 2 of the rarest Jensens ever made. We've got an FF and an SP. Now the FF for Ferguson Formula was a very brave design by Jensen. You know, you would expect it to have come from a much larger manufacturer. So it was a pioneer of 4-wheel drive and anti-lock braking. Now the SP stands for 6-pack, is the other end if you like. Jensen realized that trying to develop the technology and perfect the technology for the FF was beyond them. The SP was the flagship that replaced the FF, and that had a 7.2-litre V8 engine from Mopar with 3 carburetors with 2 barrels each, so 6 packs, 6 carbs, or 6 barrels in effect. And that was the fastest, rarest, most powerful Jensen Interceptor ever made. To put it in context, the 385 brake horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque that Jensen claimed for the car was more than a Ferrari Daytona or a Lamborghini Miura could muster at the same time. We've got no shortage of iconic sports cars as well, everything from a Volvo P1800S in the Saint White. We've got an Old English White Austin Healey 100. We've got various MGBs. We've got a 2005 Fiat Barchetta, all the way through to an early 70s Ferrari 365 GT4 2+2. Now, not only is that a rare car because it's UK supplied, but it's a manual gearbox car, which makes it particularly rare, and, so I'm told by people who've owned them, great fun to drive. It's a very underrated design. Again, it's Pininfarina styling. It's a subtle Ferrari, but one capable of generating big grins because of that 5-speed manual gearbox. If the 2016 Land Rover with 430 miles is just a bit too leggy for you, there is a Jaguar XKR Coupe in the sale that's done 251. So if anybody's out there and they want a couple of mint low mileage classics, they're more than welcome to take a look at either of those. They are both in a condition commensurate with the low mileage. We've got 2 MGTDs, one of which is pictured, well, standing right next to me here. The other car is in black, so a bit of a contrast. We've got a beautiful pre-war 1936 MGTA midget, the first of the T-Series cars. That's been subject to an extensive chassis-up restoration, and the vendor is going to drive it some 170 miles to the sale, so that's a fairly big thumbs up for it. As I say, there is a wonderful selection of cars, really too many to go through here, but if you'd like to come down, they are all available to view at the Pavilion Gardens on Tuesday the 26th from 12 p.m. till 6 p.m, and on the morning of the sale, the 27th, from 9 o'clock onwards. It is a live physical sale. We will also welcome bids over the internet via our website and also via telephone, but we do encourage you to come to the Pavilion Gardens. We've made a couple of changes for this particular auction, so if you think you know what to expect, I'd urge you to come down, have a look, get a feel for the new setup, the new presentation, and make your own mind up. As ever, if you have any questions about the bidding process or any of the cars in the sale, please don't hesitate to contact us, either via info@h&h.co.uk or via telephone 01925 210 035. Otherwise, we very much look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.